Welcome to the broadcast, my dear fruits. I'm melting like an ice cream, so you're going to have to bear with me. Another heat wave going on here in the kingdom. I spend the rest of the time here, naked, under fans, under electric fans, so I'm fine the rest of the time. But when I broadcast to you, the moo-moo had to come out. We're in moo-moo season. Are you in your moo-moos, ladies? I can just see an audience of fruity moo-moos out there, the justified ancients of moo-moo. I'm in my moo-moo, but unfortunately it's a cheap old nylon one, some sort of polyester. I said polyester type moo-moo, but it's all I can muster up today, my dear. The heat's getting to me, but we can cheer ourselves up, can't we, with the wonderful glad tidings of Meghan's downgrade and Harry's downgrade with Netflix. Can you hear those plates smashing in Montecito? Yes. When a sunset matches your pour, she tells us on Instagram. Well, Meghan, darling, you might be in spitting distance of Hollywood. But you know Norma Jean. Can we get that straightened out? Get it? Got it? Good. No. You know Norma Jean. The only thing that this sunset matches is your career with Netflix. It's sunsetting, darling. Sunsetting on the horizon. In fact, it's Sunset Boulevard. You're not Norma Jean, darling, but you are Norma Desmond. Oh, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up. The camera is zooming in, Meghan, as the sun sets. Now, these trees that you see that she's brandishing could be the conjoined palm trees that Meghan described Harry as saying in his own words, "My love, it's us. See how they're connected at the bottom." Well, you said it, lover boy, didn't you? Yes, indeed, Harry and Meghan are connected at the bottom, like the human centipede. At Harkle Towers, tantrums are aplenty today. Quick, quick, control the narrative, they cry. Control the narrative, all these headlines, disastrous headlines about us going out all throughout the world. It's damaging our reputation. Too late. Too late, darlings. The world's press is in a frenzy as the Netflix deal is downgraded. So you're going to have to be knocking on your pal Beyonce's door. Let me upgrade you. Onomatopoeia. No, darling, you're not getting an upgrade. You're not getting an upgrade. You're going down, down, down the pan, the toilet pan, and the sewers of Montecito. Let's take a delicious little look at yesterday's announcement, shall we? Archewell Productions extends creative partnership with Netflix with a multi-year first-look deal. The devil's in the details, and the proof of the pudding is in the eating. A first-look deal, you'll know what that means, darling. It means you're done for. We'll look at that in a minute. First-look deal for all its film and television projects. It mentions the success of the docu-series, which gained 23.5 million views. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, 23.5 million views. It's not a small number, but you and I know, darling, because we're all YouTube addicts, aren't we, my fruities? We all know that there are big YouTubers out there who attain those sort of figures in a trice within 24 hours of a video being published. You know, I'm talking about the really big fish out there. YouTubers achieve that with no publicity at all, let alone the world's press going berserk for it all. So let's put it in perspective. You know, Tommy Robinson's documentary, which was censored. It was totally censored from the internet. I mean, that's garnered, 160 million views? I know it's up there. Beyond that now in the hundreds of millions. Hundreds of millions. That was banned. That was banned. It's still, I think, legally banned here in the kingdom. Hundreds of millions compared to this little 23.5 million. So let's put things in perspective, you know. It's not like Who Shot JR, is it? JR Ewing. It's not like that era. I think in the States alone that got 83 million views back in the days of those kind of ratings, you know. Actually, you know, the late Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, met Larry Hagman during that time when nobody knew who shot JR, and she asked him who it was that had shot his character, and apparently he wouldn't spill the beans to her at all. He said, no, even to you, your majesty, I will not tell. Contracted to secrecy, I'm sure. Well, They continue mumbling on something about with love, Meghan, and its drastic tumble to only 5 million views. So far in 2025, 5 million views. Well, I actually checked today just to try and compare. I checked my own channel to see what it attained in the same time period. And even me, in my little old dusty corner in the internet, dear, got just shy of 7 million views. Admittedly, that is a total of all the broadcasts that I've pushed out there, not just one show. But, I'm just trying to illustrate my idea that a small fry like me puts more bums on seats. More bums on seats than her show did in the same time period. I mean, it's quite extraordinary. And you can keep your bony bums away from my seat, Meghan and Harry, do you understand? Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. It's so infra-dig, isn't it, the way they parade that around. Meghan said, "We are proud to extend our partnership with Netflix, expand our work together, to include the As Ever brand. My husband and I feel inspired by our partners who work closely with us and our Archwell Productions team to create thoughtful content across genres that resonates globally and celebrates our shared vision." Sophistry, full of gossipy. Then there's the coup. Then there's the coup of what's coming up. Here we go. With Love, Meghan is going to debut later this month. It's already in the can, so of course it's going to debut. They already filmed it months ago, before they knew that it was going to go down like the fuzzy end of the lollipop. And it's going to be more cringe and flower sprinkles on the way, isn't it? So, okay, fair enough, we already knew that. And then, of course, we've got With Love, Meghan, the holiday celebration in December. Now, I'll admit, okay, that one I'm quite jealous of, simply because I think that I could do it better. I should be doing that with a lovely, cosy, brambly hedge corner, do you understand? Putting Christmas ideas all together. But, of course, they studiously avoid the word Christmas. They don't want to offend everybody else. Oh, because they're just so hyper-inclusive of everybody. Oh, everybody loves Christmas, darling. The Jews, the Muslims, the Hindus, the Scientologists. Everyone loves a bit of crimbo, my dear. It's only a few on the grand peripheries that ignore the whole shebang. Everyone else just gets into the spirit of it, darling. I mean, let's face it. Most Christians only go to church when there's a wedding or a funeral to attend. Let's not take things too seriously. Oh, meet me at Ricky Lake. Well, blow me down with a feather. That's still on the cards. Oh, Naughty River. I had that as being done and dusted, gone the same way as Pearl a long time ago. Well, they put me in my place. Meet me at Ricky Lake. It's still ostensibly on the cards. It's been bought and paid for, but we shall see what goes on to happen with it. Just don't put Harry and Meghan in the starring roles, because that won't help things with it. But we'll see. We'll see what actually happens there with the work of Cardi Fortune, whose great misfortune it was to get involved with the Sussexes and the productions of Archwell. And then this one I haven't heard of before, Massacre Kids. I don't know how to pronounce that. Massacre Kids. Yes, Massacre Kids doesn't that doesn't sound quite so good, does it? But maybe that's what I'm going to call it. Massacre Kids. A Rhythm Within. A new documentary short. They are producers on this, and it's about dancing orphans. So, Annie, eat your heart out. Tomorrow. My grandmother and I always used to sing that song. I love you tomorrow. We still do. No one's going to watch that, are they? It sounds wonderful, all for a good cause and everything, but who's going to watch that? Doria? One person, that's about it, darling, and maybe Harry. As Ever is going to expand. Well, how's it going to expand? Because it hardly got any views for the first series. So there's obviously going to be fewer for the second series, and then fewer again for the holiday celebration. So expand into what? A black hole? And maybe Meghan's. Archwell Productions is in active development. Well, that's a bit vague, isn't it? That's a bit vague. Now, all this first look nonsense, that means that basically the Harkles have got to go begging to Netflix, cap in hand, whenever they come up with some monstrously stupid idea, having one of their thought showers and brainstorms around the tables. And Mona Shit says, oh yeah, I got a really bright idea because I'm so creative and so talented and I know just what the world needs. Netflix don't want that, lovies. All they want is gossip and drama and you slagging off the royal family. That's the only thing that's going to bring the views in, isn't it, darling? And get bums on seats. So this means I've got to go begging cap in hand. And it means that Netflix are going to have first dibs to reject their stupid ideas. As they come one after the other. That's all it means, darling. First look means that Netflix aren't even under any obligation to work with them and their stupid ideas. They just have the priority. They're first in the line to reject them. It was all about the Judas coin for Netflix. It was all about Harry and Meghan's betrayal of dignified members of their family. It was all about the interest in the monarchy. But as for them and their creativity, that does not make the big bucks, does it, my dear? That doesn't make the big bucks. Are they clamouring for a new series of Polo? Harry's Polo Expedition? I don't think so, darling. Or the Invictus Games vehicle? Tumbleweed, tumbleweed. Doesn't make any money. And frankly, my dear, we simply don't give a damn. Now, it's long been said that Meghan and Harry have reduced the royal family status to that of a reality show in the style of the Kardashians, keeping up with the Harkles, this kind of thing, in comparison with the Kardashians. Well, I've got nothing against Khloe Kardashian whatsoever at all. By happenstance, actually, a couple of weeks ago, her interview popped up on YouTube with Dolly Parton. I love a bit of Dolly. And I thought that she was really talented, actually, as an interviewer. Far more decent than many long-careered interviewers out there. The likes of Piers Morgan, he might have a skill for hype, but as for his style of interrogation, I wouldn't even call it when he does interviews. It's more like interrogation and haranguing his interviewees is abominable. Who can sit through that? I know some people do. He does get ratings in, but there's also a lot of people that don't find that sort of style enjoyable. Khloe was actually talking and listening, having conversation, but there is also no denying, by the way, that the family brand, and this isn't a moral judgment because I happen to enjoy a bit of vulgarity here and there, but their family brand is built on vulgarity, crude spectacle, porn, distastefulness, merchandising, and some of the products that they shift have been poor quality, in my personal opinion. Poor quality off the back of their infamy and their drama and their porn, rather than substance and quality, do you understand? I'm generalising, of course. For example, I think they got involved with Emma Grede, didn't they, in Good Americans, the jeans brand. I hear that that's perfectly decent quality. So I'm generalising here, but their empire was built on selling out, selling themselves and selling all. Legs akimbo, with a brazen attitude, do you understand? And they're also purveyors and promoters of narcissism, aren't they? In spades, they exemplify it for the age as an aspirational kind of gimmick for the young ones coming through. And so isn't it curious? Isn't it curious that Meghan, so demure, so worthy and so pure, is sharing this week and reposting one of her promotional baskets of vegetables for all my girls with a K. Special K. Not Kate. Not Kate, don't get it twisted. Via Khloe Kardashian's account. The bitter truth is, in fact, that Meghan is actually devastated. Don't get it twisted. She's devastated. Because at this point, okay, it might change, but at this point in time, Khloe is the only one who has paid any lip service to this basket of vegetables. Apart from the mother, Kris Jenner, who was coerced and forced into sharing all of this nonsense on stilts on her socials today. Not Kim, not Kylie. Let's face it, they're the main attractions. No. Not Kim, not Kylie, not Courtney. No, radio silence. Even Rob. She can't even rustle up Rob Kardashian. Are these friendships or are they transactions? That's what I was speaking about, trans. You've got the other Jenner as well, haven't you? What's her name? Caitlyn. You got Caitlyn. Did you not include your trans friend with your hamper of goodies, darling? How rude. How rude. But you're into transactions, and Caitlyn is a trans of action. And to be quite honest, You deal with transactions, not friends, in your relationships. All your relationships are transactional. And we see it. Welsh Witch 1 says, I think Harry had a bit of a crush on Catherine and was envious of William, so he went off and found himself a famous, glamorous actress. Said in a sort of sarcastic style, Welsh Witch. I got that, thank you for your comment. Suggesting that he fancied Catherine. Well, consider, my dear, Harry was already, as a young man, in absolute apoplexy, interminable jealousy over his inferior rank as a second son. Of course, he thought he was the alpha brother, and still does, but he was interminably relegated to junior, to wingman, to underling, understudy, dandini, stooge, and spare. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. Well, I say those words not as a disparagement, but to illustrate what he thought of the role himself. That's his take on what actually could have been a very special role, and one that could have actually been very pleasurable in mature hands, and he could have been highly respected in that role, and you need look no further than Princess Anne to see that. The second child of the late Elizabeth, because look how highly respected she is, and in many quarters she's held in higher esteem than the king, as well you know. And she attained that respect not by competing with the king and seething with jealousy and envy over her place, but by knowing and accepting her place and her destiny. The same can be said for Edward, actually. We won't mention the other one today. Old Andy boy. But Prince Harry hoped that William would do what the late King Edward VIII did, old Eddie Windsor, and abdicate. That's what he was hoping for, or dearly hoping, praying, please, please God, make Willie a homosexual. That would be wonderful. He can run off in gay abandon with his homosexual love, but that will mean that he will have to abdicate the throne and leave it in King Henry IX's straight and heterosexual hands to steer through the kingdom. Yeah. Gay Willie, that's what we want. Good King Gay Willie, who never became king because he loved Willie. He loved lots of other Willies out there. Just Big Willie was Gay Willie. And I was straight little Todge. I was the cocksure one that Todged here and Todged there. Please make him be homosexual. Dear God. I'm afraid that didn't work. Or he might have been hoping that William went the way of his late mother. I mean, I wouldn't be so cruel as to suggest that he would think those dark thoughts, but it has been mooted by others. And Harry thought, well, if William must be king, if he must be king, I'll show him. I am going to show that boy, and I'm going to get the hottest chick in the neighbourhood. Yeah. I'm going to hang out at all the clubs, and they're going to be prancing and dancing around me, the most eligible bachelor in the world, to get a bit of haz. And I'll get them all. I'm going to get Sasha Walpole, and I'm going to get Cressy Bonbons, and I'm going to try Chelsea Flower Show Davy. Yeah, she's going to show me her flower. Chelsea Davy. All gravy. And then Jats. And then Kate came along. Yes. To our sheer and utter delight, Catherine Elizabeth Middleton. A middle-class girl from working-class mining stock. A commoner. But, like commoner Sophie, a true class act. With sterling values, a steel marshmallow. But actually it was worse for Harry, because as well as sterling values, Catherine was and is a dazzling beauty that, like a fine wine, only gets better with age. A dazzling beauty with a smile to warm the cockles, including his cockle, to warm the cockles of the coldest heart. You've seen Catherine's smile. Are you going to deny what I'm telling you? A princess from the pages of the Grimm's fairy tale book. From the pages of fairy tales, she came to life with golden qualities in all aspects. looks, virtue, justice, mercy. Oh no, oh no, I'm foiled again, I can't trump Big Willie after all with my hot toddy, because they just don't compare to Kate. None could hold a flame to Catherine's firelight, do you understand? Increasingly desperate. Scanning Instagram feeds for trade and booty, Harry spies the brazen antics of Rachel Ragland. No doubt she was twerking or trading. She's always doing one of the two. Legs akimbo, probably. Come hither, Bambi eyes of hers, pouting and preening, slippery as a dolphin, brandishing her woke credentials. Yeah, that's how she came to his attention. A British prince, and when courtship commenced, of course, he knew that he had found a partner in grime. A fellow mischief maker, prone to histrionics and melodramatics. Just like Mama. Oh, how sweet. Someone to shake up the system, in fact. That's what it was all about. You can just picture it, can't you? My wife and I have uncovered nepotism bias running throughout the monarchy, and it is a bias in favour of the oldest son, primogeniture, when actually it is the youngest son who is the most virile and the more fit and more capable, more sprightly, better endowed. Yes, in your dreams, Harry. More purely royal, like my wife and I. You see, I demand that new letters patent is issued and the line of succession is turned on its head in the name of egalitarianism. We can toss a coin for the role of King, Willie. How about it? A Judas coin? Ha! Well, it was a case of sour grapes. Grapes that are now being sold as rosé wine by the caseload. Well, Switch, the fact of the matter was, to Harry's horror, he found that he absolutely adored Catherine as well. She was irresistible, and he would amuse little Todger under cover of dark duvets, thinking of she and only she. It's my understanding anyway. The little Todger, the princely pecker, as it's known, was not frostbitten on this occasion. It was love-bitten and quite smitten. He wanted to play with Kate's kitten. Meow, that's my understanding. He still sees Catherine when he closes his eyes. Yes, he does, to this very day, while he's doing the horizontal hula with the chicken roaster at Montecito. What did you call me, H? I heard you. You said Kate in your sleep, didn't you? And as you reached your crescendo, I heard you. No, I didn't say Kate. I said, mate. Let's mate. Yes, everything else can wait. Of course I did, my darling. It's fate. It's fate. It's kismet, not Kate. And so, of course, after all of this goes on and before Meghan, he tries his luck with Pippa Middleton. He's going to try and pip this little pipsqueak with Pippa Middleton. I'll pip you, Willie. I'll pip you. No, thank you, says Pippa Middleton. No, thank you, my dear. I don't want to crack this nutcase. Yes, indeed, these are the fruits of sibling rivalry, Welsh witch, otherwise known as plain jealousy. Now, these images that I'm flashing up are so much fun. They were shot a few years ago by lookalikes, but it perfectly encapsulates, doesn't it, the feeling of jealousy and envy that Harry carries with him, who truly believes with all his heart that he is an alpha male, that he is the Grand Todger, when in fact Big Willie is that alpha. He is that alpha. You've got to come to terms with it, my love. You've got to come to terms with it. But don't these images perfectly encapsulate and symbolise that friction, that tension, and that delusion that Prince Harry is under. And we'll finish off topic in response to Dolores Bowen, who says, "Oh, River, you're so wonderful. Thank you for your presentation today. You look so elegant, perfectly placed in your new environment. Your room looks put together so well, and your outfits look spot on every day. You're simply good company. Again, thank you." Well, firstly, I appreciate very much the kind words, indeed, although I'm about to reject all of them. But I very much appreciate your kind compliment. It's very sweet of you, and I'm so glad that you consider me to be good company. That is indeed my aim. That is my aim, to just be good company for you to switch on, my dear. Put up a throne, put on a kettle, and shoot the breeze, my dear. But, yes, I just wanted to say that although you thank me and say that my surroundings look so put together, I'm in utter disarray, as I've tried to tell you a few times in the past. But just so that you know, I am in utter disarray here. I think that it looks shit. I think that it looks awful around me. So I agree with anyone who says that it doesn't look put together. Actually, it looks terrible, but I'm just having to make do in a sort of makeshift way at the moment. As I've mentioned before, I've got bare floorboards at the moment, just planks of wood throughout the entire home. Very old floorboards, by the way, which aren't nice to live with, but I need to take this entire place apart in order to deconstruct it and then build it up again and reassemble every single inch. I'm about to embark on the rewiring, which is a labyrinthian tangle of decades, centuries old, bits and bobs, and you know the score, my dear. Lots of you have done places up, flipped places. And you know the score, because as you go along you become more invested. This is the thing, and you fall in love with the place, and that means you want to do the very best by it, and you want to furnish it in the best way possible. That's what I want to do. But it does look like a crack den at the moment. Yeah, if you could see everything around me at the moment, it's pure crack den with just bits of junk that you can see slap bang in the middle of it. And and also it's spider season. If you're triggered, I know some people are horrified by mention of spiders. I'm going to talk about them for a minute or two, so just switch off. You've had your warning if you don't care to hear about them. But it's spider season, well, not yet, September time, but they've begun appearing. And I'm not one of those people that's absolutely petrified by spiders. I can be in the same room as one or two, but they do give me the EBGBs. It's the way that they move so quickly you don't know where you are, and it's the thought of them getting on you without you knowing, and even hurting them by responding quickly, that gives me the EBGBs. But there's one that I've got a begrudging affection for. I saw it in the scullery. Actually, it was hiding behind some old wiring that needs to be taken out, but I could see its shadow lurking there, and whenever it gets dark it comes out, and it's a fairly small one, but it's got a big thick black body, and I would normally not like it being there. But because I left it there a couple of days, I got used to it, and then I didn't have the heart to get rid of it and turf it out, which is really annoying me, and I try to dispose of them as humanely as possible. No one needs to give me a lecture on how good they are for you, how they don't do any harm. I know all of this. I try to do as good by them as I can. I was trained ruthlessly by my grandfather to treat them as friends of the garden and of the house here and there, so I know all of this. But I still don't especially like some of them around me all the time. So if I really can't stand them being around me, then I will try to, first of all, use a jar and get rid of them that way. I'm quite good at doing that myself. I don't enjoy doing it, and chuck them out the window or whatever. Although sometimes they come back. My grandfather swore he used to take one half a mile away. He ended up driving a spider half a mile away down the road on the country lanes and leaving it there, and he swore that it came back. But and then I've got one of these spider catchers. It's not actually very good or long enough for my liking, but it has done the trick a couple of times when I just don't want to get too close to a spider. So I've got a spider catcher, but then as a last resort, sometimes I will, I'm afraid, have to resort to a hoover, to a vacuum cleaner, and I did just a couple of nights ago. I'd been in bed for some time reading, and a good hour or more, and I hadn't noticed anything. I got up, brushed my teeth, and when I came back to bed I saw a shadow out the corner of my eye, and there was a huge spider on the ceiling right above my bed just as I was about to turn the lights off and go to sleep. I mean, I was cursing, my dear. I mean, that just could not happen. I wouldn't be able to sleep through it, my dear, knowing that it was hovering above me. And I have woken up once in the past with one actually on my duvet, just like 2 feet from me, a fairly large one, right on my duvet. That doesn't normally happen, does it? They usually stick to the hard surfaces. But anyway, I saw this thing above me. I was, oh no, not now. How am I going to get rid of it? And I tried using the spider catcher, but it wasn't long enough. My ceilings were a good almost 4 meters above me, my dear. 3.5 meters, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but they're very high ceilings. The spider catcher wouldn't reach. So I eventually had to hoover that one up, and I didn't like doing it. It was horrible. I thought it might fall down on my head, but I had to try. It needed the full attachment on it to reach the ceiling. I couldn't just take the main attachment off. So I was standing on the bed with this huge vacuum cleaner in my hands on my tiptoes trying to get the attachment to the top of the ceiling, and it did. It sucked it up, poor thing. And then I start worrying about the fact it'd probably still be alive in the Hoover bag and can crawl out. So I had the attachment hang over the edge of my bath in case it came out. I was hoping it might stay within the bath. Do you understand? Anyway, honestly, the travails. I've totally digressed there, but yeah. So there's lots of spiders. Oh, in the courtyard as well. In the courtyard, that is strewn with spider webs at the moment. Gigantic ones, some from wall to wall. And in the ivy, because I haven't been here for this season before. I was here for some of winter, spring, summer now, but I haven't been here for autumn. So, it's all new to me, my dear. But yeah, it's quite miserable, and I have been quite miserable with the redecoration and everything that needs to be done and is going on. And it's only because it takes money, doesn't it, my dear? It's going to take tens of thousands, a lot of that, most of that, because I want a really nice new floor to go in as well. That's the most expensive thing, really. It's I've done the windows. So it's all an investment, of course, and it's going to be recouped and then some when eventually it's sold. So it's all for a good cause, but it's a lot of money to come by. But the good thing is that I do have a plan of how, I've got the vision now of exactly how I want things, each room, and the look and the feel. And yes, I will hopefully share with you in the future, not at this moment in time, but in the future I'll hopefully share with you. And I also know how I want the broadcast in the future, the scene to look and be set. I had the idea of the salon and everything. We played with that. Could still bring some of that into it, but I've got a different idea. I've got various inspirations from the fruit bowl to Brambley Hedge, but I just want my long-term basketeers, or new ones, basketeers coming on my fruit crumbles, to understand that it's not up to my standards at this time. But in future, hopefully we'll get there, around the corner, maybe in a year. But at the moment, I'm just trying to get through each and every day without becoming utterly overwhelmed. And also the other thing is with regards to my outfits, my costume, my wardrobe. Again, thank you for saying that you appreciate them as you did. But one huge struggle of living where I am at the moment is the fact that there are no local charity shops in close proximity to where I am, within walking distance. Of course, we've got hundreds, thousands of them throughout London. But in the previous place where I was living, I could trot out, and they were within trotting distance, right on my doorstep. A vast array of really good sort of undiscovered charity shops where I could pick up wonderful bargains for great prices. There was so much fruit to be picked in that particular area. But things change village to village here in London, and I'm afraid where I am at the moment there is a very dismal choice. There's lots of charity shops, but they all charge an absolute fortune. There's no bargains to be found whatsoever, and all the good stuff's actually already removed and taken and probably sold on eBay and Etsy before it even reaches the shop floor. It's very dismal. You'll know this if you live roundabout in London, central London. No treasures can be found. There's no decent bric-a-brac to be found. And I come back virtually empty-handed from an expedition. So I really, really miss that. I used to be able to bring back lots of treasures, and it makes it harder. But I'm as keen as anybody else is to revive Tip Jar Corner. We will be bringing it back very regularly. I really want to, but I'm just treading water at the moment. I'm in survival mode, and I'm going to have to in the future devote entire days to going and stocking up on second-hand clothes, bargains, bric-a-brac. Books, this kind of thing, second-hand bookstores. I've got to find the places. I'm going to have to devote entire days to doing that rather than nipping out during lunchtime and picking a few things up. I've just got to change my methods. But as a Cancerian, having one's home in complete and utter chaos is very detrimental to our well-being. It really is, my darling. It is, and it's so difficult for me to be orderly while the house is in disarray and disorder and moving things from pile to pile all the time, having very little space to get anything done. So just know that I do hope to get it together and have it come together in time over the next year or so, hopefully sooner than that. But there is a lot to get through and be done and be paid for in the interim. But once that's all done, we should have a very lovely and cosy corner and fruity corner. But, my dear, person who left the comment, thank you very much for your compliments. I'm glad that you're still managing to enjoy things as they are right now. We've got to roll with the punches, haven't we? Fruit punches. Thank you for joining me, thank you for your company, and I look forward to seeing you in the next broadcast. Take care and toodle pip.